What's up friends, Chook here and welcome back to Bit Heroes. So today we are going to do a relatively quick video compared to the other ones that I do, and we're going to go over some GvG. So I did mention in one of my previous videos, if you would like to see some GvG content, I can definitely do that, and I got a few people interested, so I thought why not go ahead and do exactly what I said, and we'll do some GvG. So there's not too much to it. It's kind of like PvP, but against more enemies and against like more human enemies, if that makes sense. So first thing I do for GvG at least is take off some gear. So I'm going to take off my chest piece, and that's about it, because I have my mythic helmet here, which I want the bonus from. You can't take your weapon off. Well, you can, but then you'll just punch people and you'll do no damage, so I can't do that. And then I want my set piece bonuses as well. So I'll just take off my my chest piece, sorry. But generally, just like PvP, take off a piece of gear or two, and you should come up against easier enemies, in theory, at least. And then we just go to the GvG option and we take a look. The team I'm currently running is this. So I have my first team is Waldo, is my tank, and then Siranen and Slayer as my DPS, with Duskwalker at the back as bait tank type thing. And then we have second team is Zaki, Sinnigan, myself, and Eagle Overkill. So that is my my GvG team, I should say. Now, if you have been watching my stuff, my content for a while, you know I'm all about the auto, and I manual this game as little as possible, and so GvG is no exception. So I go in here, and then I basically, because you're looking at one character and you can't see what the entire team is, I basically go for the weakest character I can find, mainly looking at accessory and pets. So this guy has a rare accessory and pet, so he's and he only has a epic main hand as well, so he's a good target potentially. If you see some of these guilds and you know people from those guilds, or if they're a high-end guild or something and you know they've got good plays, you can just avoid them. But for these guilds that I have absolutely no idea about, you know, it's lucky chance. This guy has 2 legendaries, so we'll avoid him. And this guy has a legendary and a rare, epic, sorry. So this guy is the guy we'll go for. Fight, accept, and auto. Now, more often than not, you'll just end up killing the enemy team, well, for me at least, just by autoing. And then sometimes this kind of thing happens where you yo-yo a little bit, but eventually you get him down and you're relatively safe. So this is, oh, he didn't actually die. I thought he did, unless he had a love boy that got him back to health. But more often than not, I would say that if you take off some gear and you choose the right opponent, with auto, you should be able to just kill them outright. Sometimes though, it will not go that way, and I'm sure if we do a few rounds of GvG, we'll definitely come across enemies where it doesn't go that way. In fact, we can kind of demonstrate this now, right? We're struggling to get these guys down just because they've got heals going on, or their pets are proccing, or whatever it be. So in this situation, never mind. Never mind. We'll just auto away. Sometimes it can take a while, but that's fine. So we're on their second round. There's second round of players, their second team. We're still on our first team, so auto this all the way, and it's an easy win, which is good. But when we do come to a difficult team, I'll show you what I do. And props to this guy for using the chicken offhand. Good job, whoever you were. Okay, let's go again. Okay, so I think this guy was in the, yeah, this guy was in the options for last round as well, so we avoided him. This guy has the guild epic accessory, which isn't really that great, and he has a rare, so he's definitely potential, and he's the one we're going for. So I very rarely do I go in and check for runes and all the rest of it and see what's what. I just pretty shallowly just go, okay, this guy's the least geared, we'll go for this guy, and accept, and we'll see if we can blitz this guy, this team as well. Looks like the tank is already down, so this is another easy win. But, like I said, we will eventually, depending on how long you do GvG for, you will find a team where it's not an easy win like this. That first round, that first team that we went across was significantly harder than these guys were, but we still managed to do it auto without really having to try too hard. So maybe we'll put 2 more badges. 2 more badge pouches. I want to save some So I don't want to go too hardcore just yet on GvG, but we'll see if we can find a team that's a little harder to fight. I don't want to really pick a hard person to fight in case I lose, but hopefully one of the people we pick is just a little bit more challenging. So going through, here we go. Was this the same guy as we fought last time? I'm not too sure, but he's got two rares as well. If it is the same guy, it'll be the same team, you would think. So we can demonstrate what I was talking about. But the tank seems to be going down relatively easily, and he's down. So this will be another auto. Let's just use this as the example, just in case we don't get a hard team to fight. So say that you've got all 4 people up, and you're struggling to get someone down, right? This tank at the front, usually you have a tank at the front and a tank at the back, or a tank at the front and a bait at the back or something like that. And generally there'll be like a healer or two, and then you've got the pets healing and everything else. And it can be hard to like get people down, especially on auto, because with auto, generally, as soon as you get SP, the auto, you know, the scripting and everything just uses your SP. So what you can do is, providing that you're not dying, you can just use your #1 auto attack, and you can just auto attack, like just keep tapping 1 or clicking it or whatever you want to do, and build up some SP. Now what that'll do is you're doing just auto attack damage, and maybe you'll kill someone doing that, maybe you won't, who knows. Okay, now we're to the next team, this 2 out of 2 team, second team. We can have a look. We've got all this SP to play with. Now what auto does is that, like I said, it uses your SP pretty much as soon as you get it. What it doesn't do is use your mount abilities. So if you are struggling and you just press 1 and you auto attack and everything, as long as you're not dying, as long as you're relatively healthy, you can even like switch you know, your tanks around or whatever it is to stay as healthy as you can and build up some SP. Then you have your mount moves. So everybody here has their mount ability left. So if we have a look here, this one, damage target to target enemy. So say you really want to get this 3rd guy down because he's the one that's healing and he's this pain in the ass that's keeping them all alive. You can just go, okay, well, I've got my mount ability now. Smack, I've done massive amounts of damage to him. And then you can get this next person to do the target damage and try and take him out. Okay, he's out. Now all of a sudden, you're down from 4 annoying enemies to 3, and maybe that one particular enemy that's healing them is out of the way. If not, you can use it. You can keep using your mount things. If you've got a mount that heals, it's not as useful, obviously. But if you've got mounts that do damage, it's super useful. So here we go. We've got Muncher, deals damage to the strongest enemy. So this is also a good one. Say you've got that that tank that's just like really hard to take down. You can do this and do a big chunk of damage to him. And then all of a sudden, you can just take him down a lot easier than before. And so you can just use the normal auto attacks to build up SP to use your mount abilities. So again, just to go over it, auto is the way to go as far as I'm concerned, and most often of the time you will win just autoing. But if you do come across hard enemies, you can just use that auto ability, the auto attack free ability, build up some SP, and then you have some mount moves to play with. Now not always will it work. That's bad English. It won't always work, and sometimes you'll use those mount abilities and it'll be evaded or redirected or whatever it be, and in that case it's just bad luck. But more often than not, it will help you get down those difficult to kill enemies. So here, let's have a look at what we've got. We've got, this guy's got 2 legendaries, so he's out. This guy has an epic and 2 epics, so but he does have a heal. I think that's a staff, is it not? No, it's not. It's a bow. Of course, because he's wearing a bow. I quite often I don't actually look at the character. I just look at their gear. I always thought this was a staff, so that's my bad. And this guy definitely has a staff, and he has a legendary. So we'll go for this dude. Fight. Accept. We'll start autoing. In fact, no, we'll use this as what I was just saying. We'll do the auto attack thing. So say you start off auto, and it's just like they're healing up, and it's really hard to kill them and stuff. You just do this for a while, providing you're not dying. Again, if you are dying, you can swap people around and even let your DPS tank 1 or 2 hits and swap them around and stuff, and just build up some of that SP, of which we have a lot of now. And we go, okay, let's the strongest enemy, take him out. Okay, that's done quite a bit of damage to this backline guy. We can even go even further and use this to take him out absolutely nearly 100%. See, sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes there's mitigation and stuff and it doesn't quite work. But he's still very, very low. Now we can use this this 1 SP number 2 ability for the spear, which hits the furthest enemy. That should take him out almost. This guy's actually pretty good as far as mitigation goes. Target enemy, take him out, and then now you should be able to auto when there's only 2 people left and get away with it fairly easily. So that's a good technique to do. The auto will not use the mount abilities. Use your free attacks to build up SP to use those mount abilities, and sometimes that can change the tide of battle for the better. So if you're ever struggling, even in just normal PvP, obviously you only have your own mount ability, but if it is an offensive one, you can definitely do that as well. But there is a quick look at GvG. We don't need to go too far into this. It's just a repetitive thing. Wait, we're just going to do that over and over again. So, well, that is Bit Heroes, right? It is kind of repetitive. But yeah, take off some gear, auto to your heart's content. If you can't, do what we just said, auto attack, and then use mount abilities, and hopefully that should net you some wins. And if you are in a decent guild, then you probably have a guild, a GvG minimum. So doing that will definitely give you the best possible chance to get those wins. So for me, I'm the leader of my guild, and I've just set a 30k minimum, which should be more than easy enough to get. Actually, speaking of that, if I've had people in the guild, fairly newcomers to the guild at least, ask, oh, can you as guild leader keep tabs on who's done what as far as contribution goes? Everybody can see everybody's contribution. So if you're unaware of this, and I didn't know that this was a thing people were unaware of, if you click on GvG and then you click on guild, this is actually a button. You can see the rank of everybody in your guild and how much they've contributed. So we can see here that Lewis has contributed 51k already. We're in rank 5 with 24k, and then as we go down, you can see all the rest. So Petra Girl down here has only done about 3k's worth. So she is, and Slayer and Major Blazer here, and Rooster even, they haven't contributed, these guys haven't contributed that much yet, but there is still 8 days to go or something. 8 days, 21 hours, so there's plenty of time to get that 30k. And I set the 30k kind of low, like the minimum at 30k kind of low, because we just had Expedition, and I know a lot of people, myself included, spent all of their guild honor and all that sort of stuff buying badges and using them for Expedition, in which case they didn't have a heap of badges sitting around for GvG. And also Invasion is coming soon, and that also requires badges, and people probably want to save up to use some for Invasion as well. So that's the reason behind my personal GvG minimum of 30k. It's definitely an achievable thing to get, and not too hard. But if you are in a guild that has a quite high level requirement, GvG requirement, participation, then following those tips should help. Either way, that's it for this episode of Bit Heroes. Look at GvG. If you got any questions, let me know, but I think I covered basically everything. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. If you like this video, click here to see another one just like it. If you're new to the channel and like what I'm doing, click here to subscribe and become the newest member of the Chicken Coop. If you really like what I'm doing, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description, where you can help support me and help the channel grow. You'll also find a link to the channel's Discord server where you can chat with me and other members of the Chicken Coop. And don't forget to hit that notification bell.